go over how to build a workflow in Vasion Automate. Select Workflow in the side rail. Click the button in the top right to create your workflow. Now you can fill in the workflow name, initial status, rejection step, and assign the folders for whenever the workflow is completed, rejected, or terminated. Below you have a priority you can set if this workflow is of high priority, low, or normal. You can enable a due date. Next, you define what will initiate the workflow. That can be a web form or PDF form that you've built with the form builder, or you can select upload, browse, or scan to kick off a workflow when you upload a document into storage. You can browse existing documents or scan in a form. Finally, you create your workflow steps. To add a new step, click the plus button. You'll define a name, step type, and the recipient, and give it a brief description. For each step, you can configure additional settings by clicking the gear icon. On the General tab, you can send emails upon entering the step. An example is a member fills out the enrollment form. After that, they get an email stating that we have received their enrollment submission form. Next, you have button information. Below, you can select from the predefined options such as approved, completed, or rejection. You can also create custom buttons. This allows you to take more than one action based on the button that's clicked. Let's take a look at the reject button. In this example, the reject button will send an email to a client who's filled in a web form. Here we recognize their email as the member email field, and then we're using an email template called enrollment rejection. This will complete the workflow and this step. Now that you've completed all the settings for your workflow, save the workflow. Now I'll show you what the approval process looks like when someone submits an enrollment form. In the example, we created a workflow for the enrollment submission form that financial services needs to go in and approve. In order to approve that document, someone in financial services needs to sign into the admin portal. They go to their workspace and they can see all of the pending documents that require their approval. By selecting on the PDF, they can then review the information that the member has filled in on the right-hand side. At the top, they can take different action, such as downloading the document, emailing it, or printing it out. These are fully customizable depending on which account is signed in. And on the left-hand side, they can view document history, such as when the document was viewed and signed. They can also view any attachments that were required or uploaded during the submission. Up in the top right, they'll have their buttons where they can either approve or reject the document. As part of the workflow step, an email template was sent to the member's email. Notice we have a no reply at vasion.com confirming our enrollment form submission, and then we have a following email stating that the enrollment form was approved. So now let's go over each of the steps in that workflow. First, the client receives a link to fill out the enrollment form. The client then fills in the information on the form, digitally signs it, and receives an email confirmation once submitted. After submitted, the enrollment form will show up in the workspace of someone in the financial services group for review. Next, the enrollment form will show up in the workspace of someone in the financial managers group to review, sign, and approve. Finally, the client will receive an email confirming their enrollment has been approved.